Alright guys, well, it is about lunchtime, and while I only eat once a day, I still do take a lunch break. So what I'm going to do is, because I have to clean up all of this is only from sharpening this morning. I did do a bunch of knives for a customer that sent them to me on a rush. So they're getting done before anybody else's stuff, and I have some stuff coming from Chris in New York, but it's been, you can see this is a mess. So I'm gonna move some of this stuff around, and then I'll just take a quick break and shoot a quick video. We're gonna talk about ceramic coatings. So guys, I cleaned up a little bit. Actually, not that much. All I did was just move some stuff around. I didn't feel like cleaning. I still have to do some sharpening, so cleaning isn't a big thing on the agenda. But as you can see, I'm wearing a jacket. It is chilly here in San Diego this afternoon. It's a damp and chilly. It's like, it's right about 70 degrees right now, and cloudy and just wet and chilly. Like I said before, I say the same things over and over again, but I'm wiping off my, oh, well that did me no good. I was trying to wipe off an area so I would not pour water all in my lap. Too late. So what we're going to talk about right now is, and I know I've done it before, but there's been some questions about ceramic coatings, and everybody's like, oh, did you Cerakote that? This is not Cerakote. This is a different type of coating entirely. Cerakote is applied with a airbrush or a paint gun or something like that, and then it's left to bake. That leaves you with very large particles, and so you wind up with a very thick coating. I've taken Cerakote off of some blades, people that have Cerakoted blades, and it's really thick. And while it scratches, it does not leave you as robust a coating as this ceramic. Now, the ceramic coatings we use are made by a company. Give me a moment, I forgot it. Okay, I'm back. It's pretty easy. It's a company called K-L-I-A-R. K-Liar or Clier or however you, I mean, I'm not sure how you pronounce it. But what they are, it's a liquid ceramic chemical based, I mean, and they each have a unique smell. So you put them in a container, you electrically apply them. So there's an electrode down into the ceramic, and then there's an electrode attached to, and you've seen me do it in videos. I've showed the setup, but at any rate, they're a very thin coating. And one of the things that you get with that is, if you have a fairly polished substrate and you can get it to adhere, there's some of them that red is not the best, but I wanted to see how this would be red. The yellow looks gold, pink comes out, looks like rose. And what it is it's just a coating you can apply that allows you, one, a protectorant. It's a protective coating. It really is. They're robust. Even when they don't last as long, they still last pretty well. So you wind up with a protection, and you can do things on steel that you can't do with anodize. You can't anodize steel. You can do stuff on steel that you normally would be reserved for like titanium anodizing. You can make something look amazing just by doing a little bit of changes. I know you guys have seen some of the knives already finished, but so it's no news to you, but there have been questions about it. So the reason I don't like Cerakote is, like I said, it's so thick. If you look at how clean the lines, and I mean, I would have lost all those coatings, and I'm gonna turn the camera around because you're gonna be able to see all of the stonewash pattern that was on this blade before is still there. And the nice thing is you can do multiple colors. I did this black, this backspacer was just bare steel. And so I did a black layer. I took some of it off. You can see where I brought it up. And you're not going to have that. You're not going to have that kind of control with Cerakote. It would be hours spent masking things and stuff like that. And so when Elliot and I fixed, well, Elliot did the majority of the work. Elliot fixed the detent on this, but opened the detent hole. Problem I was having, detent bolt. I decided I was going to ceramic coat it. I did do some work because the actual stop for the closed position is where this touches the backspacer. And so I took a little bit of material off on a Scotch-Brite wheel to give it the proper detent. Now it works properly. But at any rate, the ceramic coatings can be done on steel. You can do it on titanium to get like red. Red's not a color that's in the spectrum. But I wanted to kind of show you guys why this, I think, is better than Cerakote. Because a lot of people are like, oh, I want Cerakote. I've actually had people that didn't want to send me a knife because they had their head stuck on Cerakote being such a perfect option for knives, which it really isn't. It changes the knife enough dimensionally that there's so much masking and things that have to be done. And if you don't mask those areas when you put the Cerakote on, that knife's going to be dimensionally different. Parts are going to rub, and when they do rub, then the Cerakote comes off and it's nasty and gummy and it's thick. While I do think Cerakote has got some good uses, like something where you would want something that's a thicker coating that maybe wouldn't scratch as easily or scratch clear through to the substrate, like on, say, the exterior of a firearm. I'm sure it's fine. But for something where you're trying to maybe enhance or bring out something on the blade, but also not obscure other things like the markings and stuff like that, this is a better option. So even when you blast it, I'm going to go grab that. When I turn this around, I'll grab the torrent and I'll show you what black does. Now, it's not done yet because I talked to the customer and he wants something extremely difficult done. But thanks, Dean. Thanks a lot, bud. But so no, I'll go grab that so you can see it. And I would like to every time it gets cold and I pull this out, all I can think of is how much I love my wife. My wife bought me this jacket the year before we got married on my birthday, 18, actually closer to 19 years ago. Now that a year and a half before we got married. So anyway, I love my jacket. This is my little out in the garage wifey gift jacket that I've had for years. So hold up, let me go get that torrent that I did and we'll look at it and this and see why the different finishes sometimes can be better with the ceramic. So guys, let's take a quick look. Now, the first one we're going to look at is, now these are two completely different finishes on the blade. Now this blade was blasted and then coated. So you can see that you just get that real opaque look to it. But the thing is, even after it's been blasted, and you wind up with thicker coating that way because the substrate can absorb more. There's more surface area for the electricity to adhere it. But you still wind up with a really fine, nice coating that's not, it's not so thick that you don't maintain your markings and things like that. You can actually even still see the grind lines that were really apparent on this when I picked it up. You can do things like that, like I said in the video. Now this is dirty because I've had greasy hands. That turquoise that's down in there and down in there, I couldn't match the color I wanted exactly. So I did the ceramic, and then it allows you a little bit of, I don't have to worry about when I throw this in the anode tank, is that color going to change if I decide if the customer wants to change any of this. You know, so you wind up with some cool things. Now, the customer's now saying that he wants to try and do a black ceramic on this and then leave this blue, which, like I said, it's a nightmare, but I can do it, but I just basically have to refinish this whole scale. So, it gets you, like, it gives you a protection, but it's not a thick, ugly coating. And you don't have to worry about it. It's nice, it's adhered nice and clean. It's really hard to get this to chip or scratch. Not as robust or as long lasting, I don't think, as DLC. I think DLC actually is the only one that's stronger in my opinion.
But then if you have a knife that has a really good finish, like I didn't want to change the finish. You can see this knife is cut a lot. It's got some scratches in the blade, but you still have the stone wash and I maintained all of it. You can still see that stone wash through there. And you can still see clear as day all of the blade markings, and I maintained the finish that I liked when I first got it. So this knife has seen a lot of use. And then when you look at the back, like I said, I can get the only place where there's red is this top section. And so I can get a two-tone that I wouldn't be able to do with Cerakote. So this was just something I wanted to do. I like this knife. I thought it would look cool red. I did chip it a little bit. I dropped this. So I dropped this blade on the concrete. You can see where I dropped it. When I first pulled it out of the ceramic, I did drop it, and I chipped it in a couple places. But it's really robust. It took a bit, I'm not gonna lie. It takes a bit when you first get them. For me to sharpen, to take off that ceramic, it fights my stones, and it slicks on the stones. And I did a lot of this on a very fine stone, and some of it just on a strop, trying to get that ceramic off, and I still haven't got all of it. But it was sharp when it went in, so it just kind of needed a minor touch-up. So you get, I mean, I find that attractive. It's the only one like it, because I did it myself. I did it the way I would want. And you can see that these had a bit of a different finish. See how much darker that is than that? These were blasted. And so it went in, and like I said, it's mine, so I didn't realize or think about it. There was a little bit of, I think, Loctite underneath this. And when it cooked, I think it prevented the ceramic from sticking in a couple places. But like I said, this was just I just wanted to do it. It's mine. It's not, I know it's gonna have to be recoated before too long. But I figured I would use it to show you guys that this is really attractive. And now if I were to tumble this, with this being on a polished, I would get a mottled effect where it breaks, and then I could do a second color on that if I wanted to. Like I've done black on a polished blade like this, or a stone wash blade like this, and then tumbled it, and it breaks, and it gets me that really broken, I call it fire and brimstone, where I'll do a black and then on this, and then I'll tumble it, and then it'll chip, and then I'll put red, and so you get the black and red.
So these ceramic coatings that we use, they were originally designed for the jewelry industry, where people would coat rings and things to get colors that you normally couldn't get. And so it's when you're dealing with you're coating jewelry, that has to be pretty robust. It's going to have to stand up to the rigors of somebody who's wearing it. Like if you coated a ring, you would have to have it in a way. I mean, even if it was down in a recess, like a relief area on like a carved ring, you're still going to run into problems where that's going to, if you try to do paint, it's going to come loose. There's some other things that people have used. I know that there's some enamel coatings that you can do, and then you bake them on. But the nice thing about these, so when you're talking about baking on enamel and things like that, you're talking like kiln temperatures. Like when you're talking about like baking enamel, like ceramic, what do they call it? The glaze on ceramics. That's a really high temperature. These go on and they cook at a very low temperature, well outside of heat treat, temper temperature, and for a very short time. These bake on in 30 minutes at around 300 degrees. So that kind of time frame, you're not really looking that you're going to screw up temper on a knife. Matter of fact, I've never had a knife that had an issue where I know somebody's going, what about that one you couldn't get sharp? That knife never got coated. That blade never got coated. I have never seen an issue affecting any of these knives with that ceramic, and that's the whole reason, is they bake on at a very low temperature. You're not talking about temperatures where you're getting into, like, tempering steel. Just case in point, I'm getting ready to do some LMAX here before too long. Temper for this is 1,000 degrees. that's your temper. Your critical temperature is way higher, way higher. Now, the only thing that I would say is I would not do coatings on a Damascus blade, like a Damascus, like Alabama Damascus, anything like that, because the thing is, those steels do have a relatively low temper cycle temperature. We're talking 350, 400 degrees temper. Like, you could do temper on those in your home oven. I wouldn't do any of those. If I was going to do ceramic on a Damascus, like anything, it would be like as an inlay, and then I would, I would do two different colors, like you've seen with the Damasteel stuff that the Fair and Forge boys do, where they've etched it real heavy, done like a black, and then obscure, then take off on the high points, take off the black, and then do a second color, so you wind up with a black and red, or a black and turquoise. Chris did one that was black and turquoise. They always come out really nice. But I thought, since this blade is black, and I like, I kind of like the Darth Maul theme with some of this stuff, that I wanted a Darth Maul DOC. So, but no, that's it, guys. I still have a video that I cannot figure out why it won't load. So I do believe that a little bit later, I have some more stuff. I have a couple more things to sharpen. I have to talk to a couple customers. I am probably going to have to reshoot this DOC, or this buck video. So I'm going to try and get this thrown together, and then I'm going to get this uploaded to Patreon first, and then tomorrow at noon, everybody else will be able to see it. But I'm going to shoot this video. And this one, mine has broken in so crazy good. I really think that this deserves another look. And if I can't get that video to load, because I did the prototype. The prototype definitely had some differences. There were some changes, pocket clip placement. There were some changes in finger choil. There's just been some general overall changes that I think are an improvement. So, and I really do like this knife. So, that being said, that's the end of this video, ladies and gentlemen. If you like my videos, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like them, give it a thumbs down, but let me know why. And Patreon's always an option. I will post a subscribe button, a Patreon button, and a link to a video that YouTube thinks you guys would like. So that's it, guys. There'll be some more videos. I'm trying to get back in the groove of putting up content. And any of you guys are interested, I am still going to sell this. I think I'm going to try and do a ceramic coating on the blade, maybe to try and match the anodizing on this. So if anybody's interested in that, get in touch with me, and I will. We can discuss purchase of this knife. So, all right, ladies and germs, I got stuff to do. Editing, mainly.